All right, hello, welcome to this weather update. It's almost 9:30. It is January 24th, and it started off sunny, and boy, I went to the Pines, and then it clouded right up. You'll see the video. You'll see what was going on. I have a whole video for you. It was pretty weird and interesting. But we had like clear sky, but the clouds just kept popping where the sun was. It was pretty weird stuff. But we did have a little bit of sunshine. A little bit of sunshine. And then later on, I was at Southard's Lake, and yep, we had some, a lot of clouds around then too passing through. But hey, at least we spent some time outside today. That's something that we will not be doing as we get toward tomorrow. So let's go take a look at our. Let's start with the satellite, I guess. We'll start with the satellite image so you can get an idea of what happened here today. So we started off with some sun. We had clouds in the morning, and then there was a break in the late morning of sunshine, and I decided to go for it right around noon. But you can see those clouds that kind of popped up over us. It doesn't even look that bad on the satellite, but for whatever reason, wherever I was, the clouds were popping up, and then the high clouds kind of started rolling in too. So we had plenty. It was a partly sunny day, depending on where you were. It was like the clouds just did not want to let up at all whatsoever. However, there's a lot worse going on in the country right now. We got to talk about this severe weather going on. Yeah, believe it or not, that's right, folks. We have an enhanced risk. Actually, that's a particularly dangerous situation right there in that red area right there that we see. Severe potential here, and this is really, really bad. Enhanced risk in this whole area right here. Actually, it's more than enhanced. There's another scale here that what we call it. It's beyond enhanced. It's actually a tornado warning. You see there for it looks like a good part of Louisiana. That's tornado watch, but still incredible to see this again. Let's go back to that map here. Day one convective outlook. All right, that's showing. All right, this is the enhanced risk right here. Actually, yeah, moderate risk. So really a big risk in Louisiana. There was a tornado in Houston today. Just all part of the storm system. There's a map again that we have. So that's a tornado watch right there. I believe that red box right there that we have. And again, crazy to see this in January. Totally not normal. Let's see. We have how many reports of tornadoes? 17 reports of tornadoes today. Wow, that's incredible. So let's go to the weather map now, and you'll see this is this low pressure system right here. Lots of tropical moisture to work with. This is what's going to bring us our heavy rain for tomorrow. You can see we got weak high pressure, and a front that's kind of stuck to our north. That's not going to pass. That's going to kind of stay there. Looking at the radar, here is the storm right here, and you can see. Look at this thing. Snow, heavy snow in parts of Missouri, into Arkansas, into Oklahoma, and then as we go south into Mississippi and particularly Louisiana, this is where these thunderstorms are occurring right now. And you can see there's a line basically west of New Orleans right now. You see a line of severe thunderstorms. These have produced tornadoes. And if we go and we look at and again, see that whole tropical feed there. It's, again, very unusual to see in January, but when you have warmer than normal water temperatures, this is what happens. So damage near Houston as likely tornadoes rip through. And they're saying I thought I read somewhere they could have been F2 tornadoes here. So incredible to see this in January. Just another sign of the climate crisis we're dealing with. And there are a lot of power outages from these thunderstorms too. 73,000. Some of these counties hit pretty hard by power outages here. So again, these storms were pretty bad, I gotta say. Now you see Louisiana is already getting affected by them as well. Look at the western parts of the county as well. You know what? I want to see if we can get an earth cam here from Louisiana. Let's see if we can do this. I know this is seaside, but let me just go over here and go into Louisiana and see if we can take a look and see what's going on here. Yeah, it's just New Orleans stuff. They don't really have anything. They have New Orleans cat's meow balcony here. You can see it's raining. You're probably not going to be able to see the lightning flashing, but there is lightning to the west. Quite a bit of it, actually. Here we go. Here's all the lightning going off at this line. And it's about ready to approach New Orleans. So things are going to get pretty rough in New Orleans pretty quickly with this line. And again, this all has to do with us because this is the same storm system that's going to be bringing us the torrential rain for tomorrow for sure. So looking at our weather map right now, you can see winter storm warnings in the north, in that hill area I highlighted, Missouri, through parts of right into Indiana. And then here's the high wind wind watches and high wind warnings around that. Tornado watches, and it looks like we've got some of these tornado warnings right now. These are flash flood warnings. This area actually is a high wind warning in effect right now. Tornado watch is in effect. I don't see any tornado warnings active right now. We have some severe thunderstorm warnings, it looks like, though. So let's take a look at some of the observations in this area to show you what's happening. And you can see some pretty strong wind gusts here, gusting up to, look at that, 70 degrees. Dew point is 66. That's really juiced up air right there. That's being put up ahead of this cold front here. And this is what's causing all this severe weather here in New Orleans right now. Well, it's going to be approaching New Orleans very shortly, but Louisiana in particular, you could see sort of all the rotation in the atmosphere that's going on there. Now, let's go to our area. And you can see our map is also lit up with a number of things. We have a coastal flood advisory as well as for Nassau County, the South Shore coastal flood warning. That's in effect from 9 p.m. Wednesday to 2 a.m. Thursday. And then a wind advisory is in effect from 4 p.m. Wednesday to 4 a.m. Thursday. You can see we have northwest winds today, still above normal today, 39 degrees at Islip. So we still got into the mid-40s today. We'll put the highs on the screen for you. So still above normal, unsurprisingly. You'll see that our highs got into the mid-40s. Once again, let's see what we got. Yeah, 46 generally, 46 and close to 50 in New Jersey and even New York City. So well above normal for the day. Even if it felt chilly, it wasn't. And the winter weather advisories are all to our north. Those are the areas that will see the snow. We're not going to see any snow. I would not expect to see any snow. So let's go and look at the satellite again, and we're going to look at the east view here. So we can take a look at this storm system that's just amping up here. We'll do a 96 frame loop so you get an idea of the storm system here. It's amping up, and you can see how it's pulling all that moisture from the Gulf. And you got to remember water temperatures are above normal in the oceans, and this just adds fuel to the fire, so to speak, when it comes to these weather events. All right, and let's go now to. And put the models on the screen. We'll do that in a moment. So it's the Weather Prediction Center. This is the Storm Prediction Center. I want to go to the Day 2 convective outlook because I believe that we have, southeast. So the severe weather is going to continue tomorrow. Southern Georgia, coastal North and South Carolina, Florida Panhandle, slight risk. Again, we could see tornadoes there from this. Again, this has happened so many times this January, way more than it normally does. So let's go now to the models, and we'll take a look at the models here. And usually I put it on the screen, but I forgot. But anyway, here we go. So this is the storm system right here, getting itself together tonight. And you'll see there's the high pressure there, weak high pressure. Winds are going to come onshore. So I think we start as rain tomorrow. I don't think there'll be any snow, accumulating snow tomorrow. And then you can see that low taking the Great Lakes cutter track again and putting us into the LLJ and some very heavy torrential rains, thunderstorms possible as we get into tomorrow night. Especially, that'll be the worst of it. Then that moves out and we get into a cooler flow for Friday and into the weekend. All right, with our next threat of rain, won't probably be until next week. Rain again. That's what it looks like right now. So pretty much looks like the record at Central Park is going to stand. The record for the latest snowfall which is the 29th, I think we're going to break that. I don't think we'll see any snowfall tomorrow at Central Park. So let's go take a look at some of the models here, and I guess let's start with the NAM 3. This is the NAM 3. You know what? We'll start with the NAM 12. We'll use the NAM 3 because it's a higher resolution. So this kind of gives you an idea. You can see the heaviest snow just to the north. There'll be a good burst of snow if you're in Sussex County, maybe northern parts of Bergen, parts of the Hudson Valley. There'll be a good burst of snow. That could give you a couple of inches accumulation. But for the city and the coastal areas, Long Island, I don't see it. This would start in the afternoon tomorrow, 2 o'clock or so. And then the rain moves in by 4 or 5 o'clock. The rain starts, and we get into the heavier stuff as we get toward 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. This is when we could see some thunderstorms, 9 o'clock. And look at that. It's really going to really be torrential. Look at that. These could be some pretty bad thunderstorms here. This is the NAM. All right, but we're going to show you the kind of air mass we have to work with and why the NAM is doing that, obviously, because this is going to be a lot of humidity here with this storm system. So let's go take a look now at our dew points here. And I usually don't use dew points on the NAM, but I just want to show you, again, the moisture that's going to be coming up here. All right, and then if we look at the actual FGen here, which is the lift, and you can see these dark red areas of lift that are going to move over. That is where there's going to be a lot of lift in the air. You have this warm, humid air that's being put over cold air that's going to move the cold air aside. We will get into the warm sector this time, and we're going to have to deal with some pretty heavy precipitation. And again, if we look at the amount of rainfall that we will get, if we look at the NAM here, you'll see it gives us that bright, it's 1.5 to I think good bet 1.5 to possibly as much as 2 inches, the NAM says, as far as rainfall goes. Snowfall is nothing for us. All right, this is the 0Z run, and it's got nothing for the city. I don't think the city sees anything. So I think the city's record will be broken. I think we have a good bet of that. So let's use a few more models while we're at it here. We will go now to the HRRR here, which is another model we can use, another higher resolution model that we have to use here. And you'll see as we get, there's a little arm that comes over. The NAM was way more aggressive with the snow here. The NAM seems to think that there'll be that burst of snow. HRRR does not say there'll be a big burst of snow. And the HRRR basically says that we will see light rain start in the, again, late afternoon hours, 2 to 3 o'clock, and then right around, we got some heavy batches that are going to come through here once we get towards 6, 7 o'clock, and this is going to be where your torrential rain is. And you'll see the HRRR seems to keep the worst stuff offshore. It's not as amplified as the NAM, because the NAM always does that. But still, we have a bit of a V in the isobars there, and that is always a sign that could help the thunderstorm development, possibly, dare I say it, maybe even see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for our area tomorrow. It's always a possibility. So let's go look at the dew points, and again, just show you the humidity that's flowing in here to the area. So you're not gonna feel the humidity until we get toward later in the evening. So until 8, 9 o'clock, that's when you start feeling that humidity. And once we get that, that's when we're gonna get those strong, gusty winds from the south. That's when you're gonna get into your LLJ, probably anywhere between say 9 o'clock to 2 a.m. We're going to be in that LLJ, damp, humid, strong southerly winds, and then we have that front come through, dropping the dew points before sunrise on Thursday. All right, and then you'll see stronger west winds on Thursday, and we'll still have some strong winds, but at least it will be drier air. So let's go take a look at the actual air temperatures, and we will go back and look at the precipitation totals on this model in a moment, just to show you the air. But let's get these temperatures out of the way first. So you can see the temperatures rise quickly because, again, we see that easterly flow, even though we're not a warm sector, it's an easterly flow off a warmer than normal ocean, and not a chance of snow accumulation with that in the city. Temperatures start out in the low to mid 30s. It's going to be a cold rain, but then it's going to switch over to a warm rain as we get toward after 7, 8 o'clock, and the temperatures shoot up into the mid 50s, possibly maybe even 60 degrees in New Jersey before we see things drop again. Once the cold front passes before sunrise, temperatures will drop into the 40s, and then for your Thursday, we will be much, much cooler, according to the HRRR, probably low 40s for highs, according to the HRRR. So let's take a look to see how much the HRRR brings as far as the total rainfall. And it is actually in agreement with the NAM that we will see, again, between that 1.5 to 2 inch amount of rain. All right. And again, the possibility of thunderstorms. We're going to have to look at that. We're going to have to look at Cape and a bunch of other stuff. So let's go take a look now at another model we can use here. FV3, high resolution GFS. And we actually have enough of the 0Z in for that. And this also in agreement. Look at that. It looks a lot like the HRRR, doesn't it? So let's go take a look at the output on that. Now, here is the GFS, or the high resolution GFS. You'll see maybe a few light sprinkles, like late morning hours, but the heavier stuff doesn't get going until later. And This model seems to want to have the snow line right over us. So this model seems to be running a little colder than some of the other models, which I'm not buying. All right, so it brings it in a little sooner. It brings the heavier precip in more like in the afternoon, and therefore it has dynamic cooling, and then has some snowfall over us. It wouldn't according to this, it might accumulate, but like I said, I don't think it will. And then we get that heavy rain as we get through the night. Here we go, as we get to it later in the night, 9, 10 o'clock. That's when you get your LLJ and some of that heavy rain. When you get some of that tropical moisture, and that moves on out. But you can see how tight those isobars are. All right. So if we look at the total snowfall on this will look a lot different than some of the other models. Well, actually, no. It doesn't have any snowfall for us. So even though it has that blue over us, it's not going to stick. And like I said, I don't think we're going to see snowfall in our area tomorrow. I don't think we'll see any accumulating snowfall. I'll be very, very surprised if we do. All right. Even the GFS, which this is the high resolution GFS, the FV3. All right. The regular GFS, I only have an older run to work with on this regular GFS. So I don't really want to use it too much, but this is the older run that we have, the 18Z. And you can see it looks a lot like the FV3 we just looked at. It's just a lower resolution. But if we look at the total rainfall, you'll see the agreements here. We look at total rainfall here. Yeah, that 1.5 to 2 inches. And then the other aspect of it, yeah, FGen, of course, which is what we want to look at here, because this is where the lift in the atmosphere is. You can see there's quite a bit of it. Let's go up to the 700 level as well. So you can see, look at that. That 700 level is a good bit of lift there that we get, and that's this could come down heavy. And the question is, at this time, it's 18Z. You see this big area of lift over us. We look at the winds, but the winds are already southeast to east, so it just doesn't support snow with a wind like that off the oceans, the way the water temperatures the way they are now. If the water temperatures weren't above normal, maybe we'd be singing a different tune, but that's not what's happening. So let's now go and look at what the GFS projects for winds, and I'm going to have to look at a bunch of other model projections for winds, why we have that wind advisory in effect as we get into your tomorrow. So here is the wind, and you can see those strong winds, mainly off the south shore right there, but that's some pretty strong winds right there ahead of that cold front right there. Right. Once that cold front passes, our temperatures will drop. Thursday, we're a little bit above normal, but we have a near average day on Friday. You'll see here's the dew points again, west winds. And then as we get into Saturday, you'll see, again, we stay in the dry air, which should keep us dry. Temperatures already start rising above normal on Saturday. Here we are Sunday, nearing 50 degrees once again. And a little more moisture coming in because we have our next system approaching. A little more, but not very much. So, again, it will be above normal, except for Friday, it looks like, right now. Not going to go any further than that. We got a lot of stuff to deal with this storm that we have, because it's going to be a pretty substantial storm. So let me go over here. So again, this is the storm here that they're talking about. Coastal flood. Again, we got to have to watch out for coastal flood impacts too. The snow is mainly inland. The heavy rain is going to be for us. Strong winds as well. Southeast to south wind. Marine conditions, obviously. Coastal impacts. 1 to 2 feet of flood possible in there. So yeah, it's going to be significant for our. This is their little snowfall map. Though they seem to predict 0.1. They seem to think that we're going to see 0.1 of snow. I don't buy that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll see mainly the rain, and this is their little rainfall map here. All right. So let's go to the Ventus sky now, and we will look at this. And we can look at the Cape levels for tomorrow and see if there's any possibility that we could see some severe weather as we get toward tomorrow. So let's do that now. We go to Cape, thunderstorms. I don't see Cape listed. All right, I don't see any Cape here. So it's not really showing any Cape, which would be possibly severe weather. But if we go to the lifted index, not really that much either. I'm surprised. Why is it not showing? There's something really wrong. I think there'll be more than that. I think it's underestimating it. If we pull this up, you'll see it's more to the south. But, I mean, you can see how it's rushing into our area. You can see that LLJ right there. So I can't rule out a thunderstorm. I cannot rule it out. So let's go back to the winds. So we'll go back to the wind here. All right, because this is where we're going to be dealing with this LLJ here. All right, so as we get to, and you can see here noon when the precipitation starts, you see you got east-southeast winds already. You're not going to get snow with that kind of wind direction that's going to accumulate. And that wind is going to pick up as we go more into the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and this is the HRRR, 6, 7. These are not wind gusts here. All right, these are just sustained winds that we're looking at. All right. But you can see sustained winds of 40 miles an hour along the coast, inland 25. So it could be some isolated power outages with winds like this. And the reason why, again, is we have an LLJ. So an LLJ, if we go above the ground here, say 1,000 meters, this is 1,000 meters up above the ground, you see wind speeds are 50 to 60 miles an hour. That's the low-level jet. That's the LLJ. That's what low-level jet stands for. And look at how high these winds get. Here's 10 o'clock, 80 miles an hour. So if you have a shower or thunderstorm, it could tap into some of that energy and bring that wind down. Hence why I can't rule out possibilities of severe thunderstorm warnings. That's why the wind advisory in effect. But we could see wind gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour are likely. But we'll go back to the surface here. We'll look at our wind gusts here. And you'll see 5 o'clock's not too bad. We start seeing it pick up a little bit. But then as we get towards 7 o'clock, here we go. Southeast winds gusting to 38, but it gets worse as we go later. 9 o'clock, once the wind turns a little more subtly, we have wind gusts gusting to over 40. Here we are, 11 o'clock. This is the worst of it. And you're going to see those gusts right around 50 miles an hour. That 11 o'clock hour right now looks like that's going to be where you're going to have your worst winds before it cuts off. Once we go beyond that, we see this shift east gradually. All right, it's still gusting to close to 58. So this is some pretty strong winds here. This LLJ is going to be pretty intense that we're going to have tomorrow. And again, if we go to the actual wind speed at this time, this is midnight. And again, if we take this up and we go up to 1,000 meters, you see the issue that we have here. So a lot of energy to tap into. Look at some of these winds aloft. This is aloft at 1,000 meters above ground. But you don't even have to go that high. Let's just go 250 meters above ground. And look at how strong these winds are. So, again, it's tap into that energy and bring those strong winds onshore again. This is the kind of stuff we have. And, of course, this is going to affect the seas. We're going to have higher than normal waves. Here we go. And that's why you have that coastal flood warning in effect for the south shore of Nassau County. Here's 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Let's go to 1 o'clock Thursday. And you can see here 10-foot waves here. 4 o'clock, finally, still having a rough surf. And finally, it doesn't start dissipating until after sunrise on Thursday. So, yeah, really, this is going to be a bad storm. It's going to be a pretty significant low-level jet event, LLJ event. And if we, again, look at those temperatures, which we'll go, and now we'll go back to look at the temperatures here. Show you more of a graphic. I like this site because it gives you a little bit of a higher resolution here. These are your temperatures above ground. Let's go to 8, 2 meters above ground. So we're still in the 40s at 8 o'clock. We're going to soar into the 50s. Here we go. Jersey could be near 60. This is the kind of warm air we're going to get into here. And it's going to be humid, too, as well. If we look at the humidity and dew points, you'll see here dew points are in the 50s as well. And again, if we go to the temperature and we take that temperature and we even go above ground here and look at the temperatures, they're still pretty warm. That's the low-level jet right here, all right? 1,000 meters, we still have temperatures in the 50s. So that's the low-level jet. So you have a lot of warm air that's being moved into the area tomorrow night. It's warm, humid air. It's tropical air, and it's going to dump a lot of rain on us. And again, we look at the thunderstorm threat, okay. For some reason, the Cape level don't look so bad. I'm going to look at this one more time here. Let's go to Thursday. Lifted index is not that bad. Cape, there's none here. But I would not discount the possibility for thunderstorms tomorrow. With all that lift, you got warm, humid air that's coming into the area. So I think there's a good bet we could see some pretty bad thunderstorms tomorrow. I really do. I would be very surprised if we don't. So let's go back to the tropical tidbits model here and we'll go ahead and we will look at the skies. Obviously, tomorrow we will have plenty of clouds. I'll just go to the RGEM model here, looking at the clouds. Obviously, tomorrow we'll have overcast conditions. As we get into Thursday, you'll see some sun, but I think there'll be a cloud buildup. A better chance for mostly sunny skies is Friday. However, RGEM seems to show another buildup of clouds over us again. We thought we would have a mostly sunny day on Friday. Now the RGEM says, not so fast. So I'll have to see. That's the RGEM, and then FE3. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the skies. We got a storm to track for tomorrow. I think that's more important right now than focusing on the skies, because this storm is going to be pretty bad. Again, we can take a look at one more site here, and that's windy.com, which is the European model. And again, we will go and we'll take a look at this rain event as we go to tomorrow, and you'll see these winds really pick up. So here we are at 10 o'clock. This is the European model, which these aren't even wind gusts. These are just the sustained winds here. Sustained winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour at 11 o'clock tomorrow night. But if we push this into the wind gusts territory, look at this. Gusts up to 50 miles an hour possible. And again, it's going to be driving that rain. We go look at the rain, thunder. It doesn't really show thunderstorms, but honestly, I think we will see thunderstorms tomorrow. And again, the waves as well, they're going to pick up. You can see here, that's why we have that Coastal Flood Advisory in effect. Look at some of these waves that we're going to see 10 feet or more, perhaps. And again, we look at the sea surface temperatures. We see that the sea surface temperatures are above normal, 46. That's above normal for late January. Should be more like around 40 or 41 degrees. So that's why if we go back and we go push this back to the wind here, when this all starts, we'll go to tomorrow here. When this all starts here, you will see the winds are from the east-southeast. That's off that water. So I don't think we see any snowfall. Let's see what the European thinks. I'll go to precipitation, and let's find precipitation here. New snow, and you can see it's got nothing in our area. So Central Park is like right over here. It could point. It thinks points. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the Central Park sees anything. We can put it right over Central Park, 0.4 inch. It thinks. I don't think we're going to see that. You got to remember, although the resolution is not great on this model, but if you're north of the city, you'll get a few inches probably if you go north. But that rain will wash it away. You'll get into the LLJ. It's going to wash away too eventually. So I think that's going to wrap up what we've got going on right now. Again, pretty significant LLJ event for your day tomorrow. Very significant LLJ event, actually. And just for fun, we will look at a few more models just for fun, just so we can look at the RGEM here. Look at that right around. It starts like 8, 9 o'clock. You get some really heavy stuff. This is the RGEM, all right? And we'll look at a few more models here. Let's go to the HDRPS, because this model also is interesting when it comes to rain. And look at that. That really has some really heavy rain. And it looks like the worst of it, 8 o'clock through probably midnight or so, depending on, the east end. Maybe it hangs around a little longer. Just the HDRPS. That looks like it really soaks us. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, HDRPS gives us 2 inches. So don't forget the potential for 2 inches of rain is there. So, of course, flash flooding, especially if you're in Mineola, because we have crappy drainage. So be careful out there if you have to be out tomorrow night. Try to be back before 8, because it's going to be bad. Anyway, have a good night, and thank you for watching.